Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Banishing the Doubt, Living Your Best Life. I title my videos Banish the Doubt because I believe and I know I myself was at this position in my life for many, many years, doubting, doubting exactly what is inside, what I could do, be, or have in my life. You hear it from different people, and some of you may recognize this and some may not. But you you doubt yourself. You doubt that inner genius that's in you. You think, oh, that's the other people. That's them. They're from the other side of the tracks. And a lot of that stems from the people, as good-hearted as they were, as well-intentioned as they were, namely our parents and parents prior to that, they just didn't understand. Okay. Today's episode, guys, what I want to title it is the two minds. There's the higher self, the higher mind. That's the one that's attached with, or in communion with, if you will, God consciousness, source energy, whatever you want to call it. And then there's the other mind, the lower mind, which is the ego mind, which says, what others think of me is who I am. They're two different minds. There is the overarching subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is the mind that sort of, it's like this computer. Um, we, as we think, right, what we think of ourselves is what I'm typing into this program. And the world, our world, is what I'm seeing reflected back to me on this screen. But if I don't like what I'm seeing, right, trying to make a change, like me trying to scratch the screen and say, I don't like it, get rid of that. I get rid of that picture. That's the ego. The ego says, I don't like that picture, right? But it's not the picture. It's the programming inside. It's the subconscious mind. So I just want to read from this book here called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. And I know I've said it before, and I'll continue to say, guys, the further back we look at in research, we find that a lot of these books that were, and people for that matter as well, that we listen to or we sort of kind of come to us, we're going back many, many, many years, in some cases, thousands of years. But what Dr. Murphy talks about here is the conscious and subconscious mind. So the two different minds. An excellent way to get acquainted with the two functions of your mind, he says, is to look upon your own mind, okay, our conscious mind, as a garden. You, me, as the gardeners, we are planting seeds, thoughts, in our subconscious mind all day long, based on our habitual thinking. So, linking that back to what I just started this video with, how we were sort of programmed, right? From the people in our life, because those are the role models. So we look at them, we don't understand, or we just don't have any type of basis other than what they said and did, and how we should act in our life. As we sow in our subconscious mind, so shall we reap in our body and environment. Our subconscious mind may be likened to the soil, which will grow all kinds of seeds, good or bad. Do we gather grapes of thorns or figs of thistles? Every thought is therefore a cause, and every condition is an effect. So, like I was talking about, there are two different minds, right? We have the higher mind, or the mind that's linked with source energy. You've heard me talk about this in other videos. That energy from where we emanated, that energy that has no beginning and no end. That energy, that that higher thinking says things such as it's linked to love and appreciation and service for others. Okay. It is joy and gratitude. I want to stop there for a second. Gratitude, guys, is probably the biggest form of magnet, if you will, to draw things into our life. See, because creation's already finished. We're not going to create anything. We're simply going to choose. And we choose based on the higher or lower mind, if you will, the higher mind, and we're going to link to that, which is of source energy, God consciousness, or the lower mind, which is ego consciousness. So gratitude, service for others, abundance. This is all what the higher mind thinks about. When we're in that type of thinking, we're linked with that higher mind, that source energy. Inner consciousness, we're looking inside of ourselves. We're linking ourselves to that inner child. That child that when we're born, there's nothing but love. There's nothing but love and kindness coming from that child. Okay? We're self-centered, but not a self-centeredness like the ego sees self-centeredness. We're self-centered that we have self-love for ourselves. We treat ourselves first and foremost. That is acting from the source energy or God consciousness. Comparing that to the ego mind, which is number one, competitiveness. Okay, so we have service for others as the source energy and the competitiveness. We're not looking at others as how can we can work with them. We're looking at them as the other team, the competition. I've got to be better than or defeat the other person or the other team. Okay, the competitive nature, that's ego. Victim mentality, right? The woe is me. Life is not treating me properly. That's from the ego side. I am what I have, right? I am what I do. I am what other people think of me. That's all ego based. But we don't understand a lot of times this is how we go through our life. Our lives are sort of on autopilot. It's the programming in the computer. And if we want to change any of this, we start to change what we say to ourselves literally on a moment to moment basis. We start to become now consciousness. Eckhart Tolle talked about the power of now. Life is nothing more than just slides. If we, like you go to a movie theater and we see a movie on the projection on the screen, it's nothing more than millions and millions and millions of slides that are just going so quickly, changing. That's our life. When we start to think of this, guys, when we start to really kind of delve into this, we start to understand that each moment of our life is so very, very important because it's in each moment. What are we thinking about? Because our life, what we see, the people who are coming into our life, who come in and then leave, are people that we are drawing into us. We're like giant magnets walking around. We're just drawing people to us. It's why the Bible says the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because it's how we think to ourselves on in every given moment. It's how you're thinking right now, watching me. What are you thinking about? Is this something that you're saying, wow, this is great. I never thought of it this way, and I'm really going to start to change? Great. If you're watching me thinking, this guy's nuts, I don't know what the heck he's talking about, I got to go out and make another sale. Great. It's you are reality. Every moment, we are reality. Okay? As you think, so shall you be. Those are the seven most important words that you can repeat to yourself every single day. If that, maybe even every single moment. How I think is how I shall be. Okay? Carl Jung said, and this is very, very important, as important as how I think is how I shall be. He also said, the most terrifying thing in life is to accept oneself completely. Now, if I ever heard of a statement that ever was a death to the ego, that right there is the absolute death knell to the ego, because it's saying I am going to accept who I am. I am no longer going to accept what others think of me as who I am. I'm not going to look at the outside world and try to change that in order to make me feel better. You see, because that's how we live. The ego body lives that way. The ego body says it's them. They need to change in order for me to feel better. I once heard a story from Wayne Dyer which helps to illustrate this very succinctly. Imagine yourself standing inside your house, and inside your hand you have your car keys, and instantly the lights go out, complete darkness, and you're stumbling around trying to find a light switch, and you hear your keys drop on the floor. So you're getting down, you're looking around, and all of a sudden you look and you see a light coming from the street. The street light's on. And you think, okay, I'll go out there and I'll look for my keys. Now, of course, you're thinking this is ridiculous, right? But isn't this what we do? So you're outside, you're underneath the light, the street lamp, and you're looking and looking and looking. All of a sudden, here comes a neighbor and says, "Hey, George, what happened?" And you say, "Well, I lost my keys." And the neighbor says, "Oh, well, I'll help you find them." And now you're both looking around the street, looking under the light. And then your neighbor says to you, "Hey, George, where did you lose them?" And you say, "Well, I lost them inside." And your neighbor says, "You mean to tell me you lost your keys inside your house, but you're outside here looking for them?" And you say, "Well, yeah. I mean, there's a light out here. I'd be foolish to look in there, right?" But isn't that what we do? The ego says, "I need to change out here in order to make me feel better," when it is the exact reason why you're not feeling better, because of what was taking place inside that caused you not to feel good. So, in conclusion, today's video is about the two different minds. It's the mind that is linked to the higher mind, the source energy mind, God consciousness, being linked to that, having a mind that's focused on that, service for others, abundance, inner inner thinking, becoming more aware of what we're thinking in the moment, being now conscious, thinking of joy and love and kindness. How can I help somebody else? Versus the ego. Okay, it will come up, but when it does come up, we recognize, wait a minute, that's the old thinking. I'm going to kind of push you to the side and say, okay, you've had your time. Thank you very much. And I appreciate it. Remember we talked in another video about the wake. The wake is the ego consciousness. It's in the past, the wake of a boat. Okay. As a boat is traveling behind, it's the wake. Okay. It's just a path that's left behind. It has nothing to do with us. It doesn't drive the boat. It's not helping to push our life in the direction that it's going. Although the ego looks at the wake and says, that's the reason why, right? The changing them. They need to change in order for me to feel better. The wake, that's the reason why. That's the ego. Present consciousness, right, which drives the boat, is where we want to be. We want to be present conscious. We want to be in the now. We want to change and start to think more of, I am whatever it is that I intend to be in my life, the intention. I am whatever it is that I want to accomplish. I am that now, because creation's already finished. Okay, so you see yourself being whatever it is you want to be now. You see yourself occupying whatever it is you want to occupy now. It is right now. It always has been, always will be. So my message to you guys today is to link yourself at all times with that higher consciousness, that higher source energy, God consciousness, whatever you want to call it. Keep that connection between you and source as clean as possible. You guys, you watching this, you are a spark that can grow until you realize you are a divine creature. Because it's in every moment of our life, guys, we have this choice. We can either choose to be a host to source energy, a host to God, or a hostage to our ego. It's your choice. God bless you.